I have two quick disclaimers for this week's episode. First, this video is not sponsored by Harbinger Studios. If I start sounding like a fanboy, that's because I am. And that's the reason why I'm kicking off this month by talking about Savage Crucible. Second, if you enjoy fantasy figures with detailed paintwork, multiple points of articulation, and strong sculpting, then this line can get a little addicting. But I'm not here to sell anything. I'm simply admiring not just the figures themselves, but the company, the community, and the people who built this toy line from the ground up. Welcome to Agimat Collects. Let's unbox today's topic. So how did I end up here? Like most things in collecting, it started pretty simply. Something looked cool, so I bought it. The Varnock twins were my entry point into the line. The figures themselves were great, but once I started learning about their lore, I knew I had to get two of them. And from that moment, I pretty much fell in love with the line right away. The fantasy aesthetic immediately stood out to me. The sculpt work, the armor details, paint applications, accessories, everything about their figure just felt impressive. For the price, the value felt really strong. You get solid articulation, great detail without stepping into the kind of pricing you usually see in higher-end collectible figures. But the more time I spent with the line, something interesting started to happen. I didn't just get deeper into collecting the figures. I started getting curious about the company behind them. So I ended up following all their social media platforms, and one of the first things you'll notice on their website right away is their timeline. It outlines when waves are expected to release and which conventions they'll be attending. As a collector, that kind of openness builds trust. You're not constantly guessing what's coming next. Instead of flooding the market with constant waves, they focus on one major wave per year, with a few exclusive here and there. For someone who's trying to collect more intentionally, that pacing really matters. It allows collectors to enjoy the figures without feeling like they're always chasing the next release. Another thing I really appreciated is how transparent they are about their exclusives. Members of their own team have even told collectors not to pay the inflated eBay prices and reassured everyone that more stock would eventually become available. But of course, we can't avoid resellers or tell people how they spend their money. But I truly respect them for even making a post about it. That kind of mindset aligns with everything I want to build for this channel. One major thing that really made me respect the company was how they handled challenges. At one point when tariffs increased, they chose to absorb those additional costs instead of immediately passing them on to the collectors. While most toy companies were increasing their prices, they took the loss just to keep their fans satisfied. That kind of decision shows that they care about the people supporting their line, not just about profits. There was a time when they had some QC issues in Wave 1 with the feet. But instead of ignoring the problem or simply adjusting future releases, they acknowledged it and replaced those parts for collectors for free. They listened, they adjusted, and moments like that matter. Because collecting isn't just about the product itself. It's about the relationship between the creators and the community that supports them. Something else I found interesting is the About the Team section on their website. You get a small glimpse of the people behind the line. One thing I noticed is that many of them talk about their families and how proud they are to make something their loved ones can be proud of. And as I've mentioned in the past, I believe collecting is best enjoyed with the people you love, whether that's family or friends. Don't just take my word for it. If you're curious, you can always read about their team on their website, or you can follow their social media. I've linked them in the description so you can see how they interact with the collectors and how supportive the community really is. And And speaking of community, I've now hit my third month of posting consistently on this platform. And I'd like to take this moment to give a special shout out to the subscribers. We may not all have the same figures on our shelves, but this hobby allows us to connect with one another in a really meaningful way. And for that, I'm incredibly thankful that you continue to stick around. And that's all for now. Thank you all for listening today. Until next time, and as always, collect responsibly.